Listen to me. There's one thing I need you to understand today. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. People can cheer for you. They can clap for you. They can clap for you. They can even pray for you. But if you don't wake up every single day with that fire inside saying, I can do this, you'll never reach your full dreams, goals, visions. But guess what? Doubt is standing at the door. Fear is whispering in your ear, and failure is waiting for you to quit. That's why belief in yourself is not optional. It's survival. Every great person you admire, every champion, every success story, they all had one thing in common. They believed before the world believed. They kept going when people laughed. They kept working when nobody was watching. They saw light when everything around them was dark. You've been doubting yourself too long. You've been telling yourself you're not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. Stop it. Stop giving energy to lies. The only limit you have is the limit you set in your own mind. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to fail and rise again. You give yourself permission to dream bigger. You give yourself the courage to walk alone until the world catches up. So today I'm telling you, believe in yourself like your life depends on it. Nobody's coming to save you. You are the hero. You are the answer. You are the one who's got to take that step. The moment you believe in yourself, the game changes. Your mindset changes, your actions change, your results change, and guess what? Your life changes. So stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Look in the mirror. That's the sign. That's the person who's going to take you to the next level. Listen to me. Belief is everything. It's the foundation. It's the soil that every dream grows in. Without belief, it doesn't matter how much talent you got. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter who you know. Nothing will last if you don't believe first. You can have all the resources, but if you don't have belief, you won't even use them right. You can have the skill, but if you don't believe, you'll never step onto the field. Belief is the difference between winners and losers. It's the line that separates people who make it from people who quit. Let me make it plain. Some of you keep asking, why am I not where I want to be? Why is my dream taking so long? And I'm telling you, it's not because you don't have the ability. It's not because the opportunity isn't there. It's because you haven't built the foundation of belief. You're building a skyscraper dream on shaky ground. You say you want to be successful, but when nobody's watching, you're doubting yourself. You're sabotaging your own greatness with the words you speak to yourself. You're saying, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm ready. And as long as you speak that, as long as you think that, your actions will reflect that weakness. Belief is not just saying, belief is acting like you can. Belief is waking up every morning moving like you've already got it. Belief is training when you don't feel like training, studying when you don't feel like studying, grinding when everybody else is sleeping. Because deep down inside, this is mine. I was made for this. It's only a matter of time before it shows up. Belief changes how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself. People can feel belief before they hear it. They can see in your body language. They can see in your grind. Think about it. Every invention, every business, every movement starts with belief. Somebody had to believe it was possible before it existed. Do you think the Wright brothers had proof that humans could fly before they built that plane? No, they had belief. Do you think Thomas Edison knew that the light bulb was going to work the first time? No, he failed over and over, but belief kept him going. Belief made him get back up after 1,000 failures. That's the power of belief. It gives you the strength to keep swinging until you hit. But here's the truth. Some of you are letting disbelief rob you. You got ideas sitting in your notebook, collecting dust. You got dreams in your heart that you've never even told anybody, but as you don't believe it's possible. You're hiding from your own greatness because you're scared of failure. But listen to me. Failure without belief will break you. But failure with belief will build you. Failure is only final when you stop believing. As long as you believe, failure is just feedback. It's just redirection, it's just part of the process. Belief is like a seed. When you plant it, you don't see the tree right away. You don't see the fruit the next day. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it. That's belief. Holding on to the vision even when you don't see the results yet. Some of you quit watering your dream because it didn't grow in a week. You walked away because it didn't happen in a month. You didn't believe long enough. Success is not instant, it's cultivated. And belief is what keeps showing up day after day, even when the ground looks dry. Listen, belief is contagious. When you really believe, people around you start to believe too. Doors start to open, opportunities start to come. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because your belief attracts resources. People don't invest in doubt. People don't follow uncertainty. They follow conviction. They follow someone who believes so much that it makes them believe too. That's why leaders are not the smartest people in the room, not the most talented. They are the people with unshakable belief. But let me keep it real with you. Belief is tested. Life will test your belief. Your belief will be tested with setbacks, with betrayal, with rejection. You're going to hear a no. You're going to fail. You're going to get knocked down. And that's where belief shows its power. When everything around you says quit, belief says keep going. When people turn their backs on you, belief says stand tall. When the world says impossible, belief says watch me. I need you to stop waiting for other people to validate you. I need you to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for somebody to clap for you. Stop waiting for the world to say you can. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. You don't need their belief. You need your belief. That's the only foundation that matters. Because when it gets hard, and it will, other people's belief won't carry you. Only yours will. I'm telling you, some of you are one belief away from your breakthrough. You're one belief away from writing that book. You're one belief away from starting that business. You're one belief away from taking that first step. Don't underestimate belief. It's the reason people with less talent, less money, less opportunity still win. They have the one thing that can't be bought, can't be given, can't be faked. Belief. So ask yourself, what's the story you're telling yourself every day? Because that story is either building belief or destroying it. Are you telling yourself, I can, I will, I must? Or are you telling yourself, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't? Your story is your foundation. Your story is your foundation. Change the belief, change your life. Listen to me. This is the realest thing you're going to hear today. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. I need you to get that deep in your spirit. You can't expect your mama to believe for you, your father to believe for you, your teacher to believe for you, your boss to believe for you. You can't sit around waiting for your friends to cheer you on or for the world to recognize your talent. That's not how it works. The world doesn't clap for you until you win. And you can't win if you don't believe you can. Do you understand how many people walked away from their dream because they kept waiting for somebody to say, you're good enough? They had the skill. They had the potential, but they didn't have self-belief. And because they didn't believe, they never took the shot. They never applied for the opportunity. They never made the move. And life passed them by. That's why I'm telling you, if you don't believe, nobody else will. Because people don't follow doubt. People don't invest in uncertainty. People don't get behind somebody who doesn't even trust themselves. You ever notice how some people with less talent than you, less education than you, less experience than you are further ahead? It's not because they're better than you. It's not because life is fairer to them. It's because they had the courage to believe when nobody else did. They told themselves, I don't care what it looks like right now, I'm going to win. And because they believed, they acted differently. They walked differently. They spoke differently. And eventually, people started to believe in them, but only after they believed first. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a leader walking into a room full of people. If that leader is unsure, if they're shaky, if they don't look like they believe in their own vision, do you think anyone in that room is going to follow them? Absolutely not. But if that leader walks in with conviction, if they walk in like they already see the future, like they already know the outcome, people lean in. People get curious. People start to believe because the leader believes. That's what you got to understand. Belief is not given to you from the outside. It starts with you, and then the world responds. Some of you are stuck because you're waiting for validation. You're waiting for your friends to support you. You're waiting for your family to say they're proud. You're waiting for strangers to clap for your little beginnings. But that's not how it works. They don't clap in the beginning. They don't believe in the beginning. They don't see what you see. They're not supposed to. It's your vision, not theirs. You were chosen to see it. You were given that dream, not them. So stop crying because nobody's cheering for you. Stop quitting because nobody noticed your effort. Stop giving up because people laughed at your vision. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Think about the greatest athletes in the world. Do you think Michael Jordan waited for people to believe in him when he got cut from his high school basketball team? No, he believed in himself when others doubted him. Do you think Oprah Winfrey waited for everyone to believe in her when she was told she wasn't fit for television? No, she believed in herself when the world said she didn't belong. Do you think Steve Jobs waited for approval when he was building Apple in his garage? No, he believed in his idea when people thought it was crazy. The world only celebrated after the success. But the success only came because they believed first. Here's the truth. People are going to doubt you. People are going to criticize you. People are going to question you. Some of them will even laugh at you. And that's okay. That's the process. But if you let their doubt become your doubt, you'll never move. If you let their disbelief become your disbelief, you'll never grow. That's why you've got to make a decision right now. I don't care who believes in me. I don't care who supports me. I don't care who recognizes me. I believe in me. And I know what you're thinking. But E.T., it's hard to believe when nobody else does. I get it. I know it's hard. I know it feels lonely. But that's where greatness is born. Greatness is not born in the crowd. It's not born in the applause. Greatness is born in the quiet, when it's just you and your vision. Greatness is born when you're walking alone. But you keep walking because you believe one day the world will see what you see. I need you to stop underestimating the power of self-belief. It's not just positive thinking. It's not just saying nice words to yourself in the mirror. It's a lifestyle. It's a decision to back yourself even when the odds are stacked against you. It's a decision to grind when nobody knows your name. It's a decision to get back up when you fall flat on your face. Oh, you believe the story isn't over yet. Listen, people respect belief. Even your enemies respect it. Even the haters respect it. They might laugh, they might criticize, but deep down they know this one's different. This one isn't gonna quit. And eventually, those same people who doubted you will say, I always knew you'd make it. Well, you make it. That's the irony. The same people who didn't believe at first will believe later. But they won't until you do. So stop chasing approval. Stop chasing validation. Stop crying over who didn't support you. The truth is, they're not supposed to support you right now. That's your test. That's your training ground. That's your opportunity to prove to yourself how bad you really want it. If you can't move without their belief, then you don't want it bad enough. But if you believe without their belief, then nothing can stop you. Let me be clear. Belief is not arrogance. It's not pretending you're perfect. It's not ignoring your weaknesses. Belief is acknowledging the struggle, but saying, I'm built for this. I'm not quitting. I'm not backing down. I might not know how, but I know I will. Belief is not about being fearless. Belief is about moving forward even when you're scared, because you trust that something inside you is greater than the fear. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. That's the truth. So you've got to decide right now. Are you going to keep waiting for the world to clap? Or are you going to clap for yourself? Are you going to keep waiting for permission? Or are you going to give yourself permission? Are you going to keep waiting for someone to tell you it's possible? Or are you going to believe it's possible and make the world see it? Listen to me. Doubt and fear are always going to show up. That's not the problem. The problem is what you do when they show up. Doubt says you can. Fear says you shouldn't. But belief takes both of them and flips script. Belief takes doubt and turns it into fuel. Belief takes fear and turns it into courage. You got to stop running from doubt. Stop running from fear and start using them to power your greatness. When you don't believe, doubt becomes heavy. It paralyzes you. It makes you second guess every move. It whispers in your ear, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? And if you listen, if you don't have belief, you freeze. You never take the shot. You never make the move. But when you believe, doubt doesn't stop you. It fuels you. It lights a fire. When doubt says, you can't believe, says, oh, watch me. When doubt said, You're not ready, belief says, I'll get ready on the way. When doubt says, it's impossible, belief says, that's why I'm going to do it. You've got to understand, doubt isn't the enemy. Doubt is energy. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is energy. Fear is energy. And belief is the engine that takes that energy and turns it into momentum. Some of you keep saying, I'll move when I stop being scared. You're never going to stop being scared. Fear is always there. The great ones don't wait for fear to disappear. They move anyway. They feel it, but they don't let it control them. They let belief push them forward, even while fear is screaming in the background. Think about a rocket. Do you know what launches it into space? It's not silence, it's not calm, it's fire, it's pressure, it's an explosion. That's doubt and fear in your life. It's not there to keep you down. It's there to create the pressure you need to rise. But only belief can take that pressure and turn it into lift-off. Without belief, that same pressure will crush you. But with belief, it will push you out of your comfort zone and into your destiny. Every great story has fear and doubt in it. Don't fool yourself. Do you think Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't afraid? Do you think he didn't have doubts when he stood in front of crowds, when his life was threatened, when the weight of change was on his shoulders? Of course he did. But belief turned that fear into courage. Do you think Nelson Mandela didn't feel fear when he was locked away for 27 years? He did. But belief turned those years of isolation into a spirit of resilience the world couldn't break. Do you think Serena Williams didn't feel doubt when people questioned if she could dominate a sport that didn't welcome her? She did. But belief turned that doubt into fuel, and she became one of the greatest ever. That's the pattern. Fear and doubt are not stop signs. They are signals. They are proof that you're chasing something worth it. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. If you don't feel doubt, you're not stretching far enough. The presence of fear and doubt means you're in the right place. Belief is what transforms them into power. But here's the thing. You can't fake belief. You can't just say, I believe with your lips, but live with your lips, but live with fear in your actions. Belief shows up in the way you move. When you believe, you walk into the room with courage. You take risks that others run from. You face situations that make other people hide. You act in spite of the fear, and people can feel that energy. That's why belief is contagious, because people see you face the same fear they're facing, but instead of running, you rise. Some of you are letting doubt drive your car. Doubt is sitting behind the wheel, telling you where you can and cannot go. Some of you are letting fear hold the keys to your destiny, and that's why you're stuck. That's why you're not moving. You've got to snatch the keys back. You've got to put belief in the driver's seat. You've got to say, fear, you can ride with me, but you're not driving. Doubt, you can sit in the back, but you're not steering my wheel. That's the difference between people who win and people who lose. It's not that the winners don't feel fear. It's that the winners don't let fear make the decisions. You've got to rewire how you see fear. Most people see fear as a wall, but belief makes you see fear as a doorway. Most people see doubt as a reason to stop, but belief makes you see doubt as a reason to push harder. Belief says, if I'm scared, it must matter. If I doubt, it must be big. If I'm trembling, then this must be the moment that changes everything. That's how belief transforms your whole mindset. I need you to hear me. The greatest version of you is on the other side of fear. The greatest victories you'll ever have are hiding by And the only way to break through is belief. But belief is the voice that said, keep going. Belief is the fire that said, push harder. Belief is the courage that said, this fear will not define me. You've been running from fear too long. You've been treating doubt like it's your enemy. It's time to flip it. It's time to use it. It's time to let belief take that doubt and turn it into fire. It's time to let belief take that fear and turn it into courage. Every champion you've ever heard of, every name that gets celebrated, every person whose story inspires you, they all had to believe before the success came. Don't get it twisted. Success doesn't show up and then belief follows. Belief comes first. The world doesn't hand out trophies and then say, and now you can believe. The world waits for you to believe. And then, after years of grind, after sacrifice, after late nights and early mornings, the success shows up. The reason some of you are stuck right now is because you're waiting to see results before you believe. You're saying, when I get the job, I'll believe. And when I lose the weight, I'll believe. Or when the money shows up, I believe. That's backwards. It doesn't work like that. You gotta believe when there's no job. You've gotta believe when the weight is still on you. You gotta believe when your pockets are empty. That's what champions do. They believe before they have proof. Let me take you to Michael Jordan. Before he was a 6-time NBA champion, before the world called him the GOAT, he was a teenager who got cut from his high school basketball team. Cut. Imagine, Dad, his coach didn't see greatness. His peers didn't see greatness. But Jordan believed. He didn't quit. He didn't let that moment define him. He used it as fuel. He believed that he was made for something bigger, and he worked like it every single day. That belief turned rejection into motivation, and motivation turned into chips. Look at J.K. Rowling. Before she became one of the best-selling authors in history with Harry Potter, she was a single mom, broke, struggling, rejected by publisher after publisher. After publisher. Nobody believed in her story. Nobody believed in her vision. She believed when doors slammed in her face. She believed when people told her no. She kept writing, kept pushing, kept holding on to the dream, and eventually the world caught up. Today, the same story that was rejected over and over is loved by millions. That's the power of believing before you succeed. Think about Muhammad Ali. Before the world called him the greatest, he was just a kid from Louisville, Kentucky. But listen to what he said. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. That's belief. He spoke it before he had the belts, before he had the fame. He believed it before the world saw it. And because he believed it so deeply, he trained like it. He fought like it. He lived like it until reality caught up with his words. This is what separates champions from everybody else. Champions don't wait for evidence. They don't need the world's approval. They create the evidence. They make the world believe by showing up every day with relentless faith in themselves. You gotta understand, the beginning is always the hardest because it's the loneliest. At the beginning, there are no fans. There are no applause. There are no highlight reels. There's just you and the grind. Just you and the vision in your head. Just you against the voice inside that says, it's not worth it. That's where champions are made. They're made in the silence. They're made in the shadows. They're made when nobody believes in them except themselves. You see, success is not an accident. It's a result of believing when it's easier to quit. It's a result of betting on yourself when nobody else will put money on you. Failure is a part of the journey, but the way you see failure depends on one thing, your belief. When you don't believe in yourself, failure feels permanent. It feels like the end of the story. You fail once, and you convince yourself, that's it. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I don't have what it takes, and you quit. But when you believe, failure is not the end. It's just a step. It's not a wall. It's a lesson. It's not permanent. It's temporary. Belief makes you see failure not as defeat, but as feedback, as redirection, as preparation for the success that's coming. Listen to me. Everybody fails. Every single person you admire has failed, and not just once, over and over again. The difference between them and everybody else isn't that they didn't fail. It's that when they failed, they didn't let it define them. They didn't treat failure like a period. They treated it like a comma. It wasn't the end of their sentence. It was just a pause before they kept going. Think about Thomas Edison. The man tried over 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. 1,000 failures. Do you know how many people would have quit after 10, after 50, after 100? But Edison believed. And because he believed, every failure wasn't permanent. Every failure was just one more step closer to success. When people asked him how it felt to fail 1,000 times, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's what belief does. It changes how you interpret failure. Look at Michael Jordan again. He missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He lost almost 300 games. 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot and miss. Most people remember the championships, the greatness, the highlight reels. But the foundation of all that greatness, failure. Failure after failure after failure. And because Jordan believed, failure didn't stop him. It fueled him. It made him better. It taught him lessons. It sharpened him. He said himself, I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That's the truth about belief. It doesn't remove failure. It transforms it. Without belief, failure is heavy. It crushes you. It convinces you that you're not good enough. It makes you give up too early. But with belief, failure becomes temporary. It becomes a stepping stone. It becomes part of the process. It becomes the very thing that prepares you for success. Some of you treat failure like it's a life sentence. You fail once and you put yourself in a prison of doubt. You replay it in your head over and over, telling yourself, I'll never come back from this. But listen to me. Failure is not a prison. It's a classroom. It's where you learn the lessons that success is built on. If you don't fail, you don't fail. If you don't fail, you don't fail. You don't fail, you don't fail. You don't discover your strength. Failure is not permanent unless you decide to stop moving. Belief is what makes you get back up. Belief is what makes you try again. Belief is what makes you say, this is not the end of me. The people who make it to the top are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who kept rising every time they fell. Think about Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Do you know how many times his chicken recipe was rejected? Over 1,000 times. 1,000 doors slammed in his face. But he believed in his recipe. He believed in his vision. And because he believed, failure was temporary. Eventually, one yes turned all the no's into history. Now his face is on restaurants all over the world. That's the power of belief turning failure into something temporary. Fear of failure is what keeps most people average. You don't try because you're scared to fail. You don't move because you're scared of what people will say if you fall flat on your face. But champions fail in public. Champions fail in front of everybody. And then they get back up in front of everybody. That's why we remember their names. Not because they were perfect, but because they refused to stay down. You've got to stop being scared of failure. You've got to start being scared of never trying. Failure only lasts as long as you let it. If you get back up, if you keep moving, then failure becomes part of your story, but not the end of your story. It becomes the chapter that makes the ending sweeter. Let me tell you something. Failure reveals who you really are. When everything is going well, it's easy to talk about dreams. It's easy to look motivated when you're winning. But when you fail, when the plan falls apart, when people walk away, when the results don't show up, that's when we see the truth. Do you really believe? Do you really want it? Are you really willing to fight for it? And that's what failure asks you. And your answer determines your future. When you fail and you quit, you're saying the dream didn't matter that much. When you fail and you rise, you're saying, this is who I am. I was built for this. I'm not giving up. That's what belief sounds like. That's what belief sounds like. That's what belief looks like. Belief doesn't erase the pain of failure. It still hurts. You'll still cry. You'll still feel embarrassed. You'll still feel like giving up. But belief reminds you that the pain is temporary. The embarrassment is temporary. The loss is temporary. But quitting makes it permanent. And that's the difference between average and greatness. Some of you need to shift your relationship with failure right now. Stop treating it like your enemy. Failure is your teacher. Failure is your coach. Failure is shaping you into the version of yourself that success requires. If you succeed too soon, you won't be ready to handle it. That's why failure comes first. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. So the next time you fail, don't hang your head. Don't quit. Don't act like it's over. Look at that failure and say, thank you. You just taught me something. You just made me stronger. You just got me one step closer. That's what belief does. It turns what was supposed to destroy you into what develops you. Failure is only permanent if you stop believing. But as long as you keep that belief alive, every failure you face is just another chapter, another lesson, another step towards the success that's waiting for you. Mindset is everything. People think success comes from luck, talent, or connections, but let me tell you the truth. It all starts with how you think, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, the way you interpret your struggles. That's what determines whether you rise or fall. You can take two people, give them the exact same challenge, the exact same tools, the exact same opportunity, and you'll see completely different results. Why? Because one of them had the mindset that said, I can figure this out. I can grow. I can win. And the other one had the mindset that said, this is too hard. I'm not good enough. Maybe this isn't for me. Same situation, two completely different outcomes. And the only difference was mindset. That's why I'm telling you. Your mindset shapes your destiny. If you wake up every morning thinking you're not capable, you're already defeated before the day even starts. You haven't even tried, but you've already lost because your mind quit on you. Think about it. Your mind is the engine that drives everything you do. If the engine is broken, the car won't move. If the engine has no fuel, the car won't go anywhere. You can have all the gifts, all the skills, all the opportunities in the world, but if your mindset is weak, you will sabotage yourself every single time. You'll make excuses. You'll procrastinate. You'll play small when life is asking you to play big. You'll quit halfway because you don't believe you can finish. That's the power of mindset. But let me flip it for you. When your mindset is strong, when it's locked in, when it's built on belief, there is nothing you can't do. You start to see obstacles as lessons. You start to see failure as feedback. You stop running from pain and start using pain as fuel. And suddenly, the same world that looked impossible before starts to look full of opportunities. That's because your eyes haven't changed. Your circumstances haven't changed. Your mindset changed. And when your mindset changes, everything else follows. I know some of you are struggling right now. You're in a place where life feels heavy. You're questioning if you're good enough, if you'll ever make it. You feel stuck. And I get it. I've been there too. But I need you to understand something. You are not stuck because of your situation. You're stuck because of your state of mind. You've convinced yourself that you can't move, that you're trapped, that there's no way out. But the truth is, the moment you decide in your mind that enough is enough, that you're going to fight, that you're going to push, things start shifting. The change begins the second you change how you think. Look at people who've made history. Look at the champions, the inventors, the leaders. They didn't have perfect conditions. They didn't have guarantees. What they had was a mindset that refused to quit. They believed in a vision that nobody else could see. They got laughed at, rejected, criticized, and they kept going. Not because they had proof they'd win, but because their mindset wouldn't allow them to stop. Their destiny was shaped long before the world recognized them, because their mindset was already locked in. You gotta train your mind like an athlete trains their body. You can't just go through life with a weak, lazy mindset and expect great results. You have to feed your mind with positivity, discipline, and focus. You have to challenge the negative voices and replace them with truth. You have to decide every single day that you're going to think like a winner, even when you don't feel like one. Because here's the reality. Feelings fade, circumstances shift, but mindset is the anchor that keeps you steady when life is trying to throw you off course. And don't get it twisted. Mindset doesn't mean ignoring reality. It doesn't mean pretending everything's fine when it's not. A strong mindset means you see the reality, you acknowledge the challenge, but you choose to respond with strength instead of weakness. You choose to say, yeah, this is tough, but I'm tougher. Yeah, I'm not finished. Yeah, it hurts, but I might grow from this. That's mindset. That's the voice that shapes destiny. Think about the people who gave up on their dreams. They didn't fail because they weren't capable. They failed because their mindset told them they could. And once your mind convinces you to quit, your body follows. Once your mind says it's over, your actions stop. And once your actions stop, your destiny changes. You miss out on opportunities. You miss out on growth. You miss out on becoming the person you were meant to be. All because your mindset shuts you down. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine your mind refusing to quit even when your body is tired. Imagine your mindset saying, you just one more try, just one more step, just one more day. That one more step could be the one that changes everything. That one more try could be the one that opens the door. That one more day of belief could be the day your breakthrough arrives. And it all starts with mindset. The world is full of people with talent who never made it. Full of people with dreams they never chased. Full of people with opportunities they wasted. Why? Because they never mastered their mindset. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your mind be the reason you stay average when you were built for greatness. Right now, I want you to take ownership of your thoughts. Stop letting your mind bully you. Stop letting doubt run the show. Stop letting fear control your decision. You are in charge of your mindset. You decide what stays and what goes. And the moment you make that decision, you start shaping your destiny. Life is not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. How you respond? And your response comes from your mindset. Build a strong one. Protect it. Guard it. Because when your mindset is locked on belief, on growth, on resilience, your destiny will follow that direction. And nothing, no one, no obstacle will be able to stop you. Listen to me carefully, because this is where it all starts. The reason most people never move forward in life is not because they don't have the talent, not because they don't have the resource, not because they don't have the opportunity. No, the reason they stay stuck is because they never had the courage to simply begin. You're sitting there with a dream inside of you, an idea burning in your chest, a vision in your mind that keeps you up at night, and yet you keep hesitating. You keep telling yourself, when the time is right, when I have more money, when I get more support, when things calm down, then I'll start. But let me tell you the truth. The time is never going to be perfect. The stars are never going to align for you. The world is never going to roll out a red carpet and say, now is the moment for your greatness. No, you've got to take that first step even when you're scared, even when you don't have all the answers, even when the conditions don't look ideal. That's what believing in yourself really looks like, is having the courage to start when nothing around you tells you to. Think about it. Every great success story you ever heard started with a single shaky step. The writer who published a best-selling novel, they had to pick up a pen or open a laptop and start writing when they didn't know if anyone would ever read it. The athlete who became a champion, they had to lace up their shoes and show up for practice long before they had a crowd cheering their name. The entrepreneur who built an empire, they had to take that first risk, make that first investment, open that first door, often when people were laughing at them. That's the common thread: courage to start. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It doesn't mean you have the guarantee of success. It means you're willing to take the leap because you trust that even if you fall, you can get back up. But here's the problem. Most people let fear choke the start out of them. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? And instead of fighting back, instead of answering fear with action, they sit and wait. And the longer you wait, the heavier the doubt becomes. Every day you delay, your dream gets dimmer. Every moment you postpone, your belief weakens. That's why the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to begin. Right now, right where you are, with whatever you have. Because the moment you start, something shifts. The weight of hesitation lifts. Momentum begins to build. Doors you couldn't see before start to open. Let me give you a real example. Imagine a person who wants to run a marathon, but keeps saying, I'll start training when I get the right shoes, when the weather is better, when my schedule clears up. Guess what? A year goes by and they haven't taken a single step. Meanwhile, another person just throws on whatever shoes they've got and start running. At first, they get tired quickly. Their pace is slow, but day after day, they're moving. Months later, they're ready for that marathon. What's the difference? One had the courage to start. The other waited for the perfect time that never came. Believing in yourself is not about knowing the whole path. It's about trusting that the first step will lead you to the second, and the second will lead you to the third. And don't think for 1 second that starting is easy. It's not. That's why so few people do it. Starting means being uncomfortable. It means looking awkward at first, making mistakes, facing criticism. People will doubt you. They'll question you. They'll even laugh at you. But understand this, their laughter can't stop you unless you let it. Their doubt has no power over you unless you give it power. The only thing that matters is that you keep moving. Every master was once a beginner. Every success story was once just a first attempt. You've got to stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for somebody to clap for you before you take action. You clap for yourself. You cheer for yourself. You tell yourself, I'm ready, even if you don't feel ready. Because truthfully, nobody feels ready when they start. The readiness comes through action. The confidence comes through progress. The courage grows through movement. Here's what you need to understand. Life rewards action, not intention. You can intend all day long. You can dream all night long, but nothing happens until you start. The universe responds to movement. Opportunities meet you on the road, not in your imagination. People notice you when you're doing something, not when you're just talking about it. That's why the greatest gift you can give yourself is the decision to begin. I know some of you are thinking, oh, what if I fail? Let me make it plain. Failure is part of the process. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to success. You don't avoid failure by waiting. You avoid success by waiting. You don't grow by sitting still. You grow by moving forward, falling, learning, and adjusting. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. But you only experience that if you start. Think about how much time you've already wasted doubting yourself. Think about how many dreams you buried under excuses. Aren't you tired of wondering what could have been? Aren't you tired of letting fear be the driver of your life? At some point, you got to say enough is enough. At some point, you got to silence the excuses and take action. At some point, you got to realize that you don't need all the answers. You just need the courage to take the first step. Believing in yourself is not a feeling you wait for. It's a decision you make. It's waking up in the morning and saying, I don't know how this will turn out, but I know I'm capable and I know I won't quit. It's reminding yourself every single day that greatness doesn't come to those who sit still. It comes to those who move. So stop overthinking, stop overplanning, stop overanalyzing, just start. That's the power of belief. It gives you the courage to step into the unknown, to embrace the process, to create momentum, and eventually to reach the success you were destined for. Because the truth is, you'll never know how far you can go until you take that first step. You'll never know how strong you are until you test your strength. You'll never know how capable you are until you put yourself in motion. Believing in yourself gives you the courage to start, and starting is the key that unlocks everything else. So whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, whatever vision has been burning inside you, start today. Start scared. Start unprepared. Start small. But for the love of your future, start. There will be moments in your life when everything feels heavy, when the world feels like it's closing in on you, and when the voices of doubt around you are louder than the voice within. You will face days when people tell you that you don't have what it takes, when circumstances appear bigger than your abilities, and when it feels easier to give up than to keep going. But in those very moments, the most powerful thing you can do is believe in yourself. That belief isn't just about blind confidence. It's about trusting that deep inside you is more strength, more resilience, and more potential than you even realize. Believing in yourself is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Because the only thing that separates those who succeed from those who quit is that unshakable faith in their ability to keep moving forward, no matter the odds. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved something great started with a seed of belief. Before there was proof, before there was applause, before there was recognition, there was just belief. Steve Jobs didn't have evidence that people would buy into his vision of personal computers, but he believed. Oprah didn't have anyone telling her she was destined for greatness when she was just a poor little girl in Mississippi, but she believed. Muhammad Ali didn't wait until the world crowned him the greatest. He declared it first, and then he worked every single day to prove it. That belief is what lit their path, what carried them through rejection, failure, and ridicule, and what made them refuse to quit when others doubted them. When you believe in yourself, you're not saying that you won't fail. You're saying that failure won't be the end of you. You're saying that no matter how many times you stumble, you'll rise again. Belief in yourself gives you the power to stand tall in the face of rejection. It gives you the strength to keep working when the results aren't showing yet. It gives you the courage to walk your own path when the world is pressuring you to follow theirs. Without belief, you'll fold under the weight of pressure. But with belief, you become unstoppable. And here's the truth. You don't need everyone else to believe in you. You don't need validation from your friends, your family, your teachers, or society. Because if you're waiting for others to confirm your worth, you'll be waiting forever. People project their own fears onto you. There you say, it can't be done. Not because it can't be done, but because they don't believe they can do it. If you take their doubts as truth, you'll limit yourself to their small vision. But when you believe in yourself, you expand your vision. You silence the noise. And you tap into the limitless possibilities that live inside of you. Belief is like a fire. The more you feed it with discipline, consistency, and hard work, the stronger it burns. But if you neglect it, if you let fear and self-doubt starve it, it will die out. That's why you have to protect your belief at all costs. You protect it by surrounding yourself with people who encourage you, by feeding your mind with positivity, and by constantly reminding yourself of why you started. Every day you wake up, you have a choice to listen to the voice of belief or to the voice of doubt. Whichever one you feed will grow. And let me tell you, when you walk with belief, your energy changes. When you believe in yourself, you create a mental foundation that allows you to take risks others shy away from. Think about it. Most people let fear, doubt, or what others might say dictate their decisions. They stay in their comfort zone because they don't trust themselves enough to step outside of it. But when you choose to believe in yourself, you're giving yourself permission to dream bigger, act bolder, and pursue opportunities that would otherwise slip through your fingers. You're telling yourself, I may not have all the answers right now, but I trust my ability to figure it out. That trust is what turns hesitation into momentum. It's the difference between staying stuck in mediocrity and stepping into a life that pushes you toward growth, fulfillment, and impact. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff with a beautiful view of everything you've ever wanted on the other side. Between you and that dream is a shaky rope bridge. Most people look at the bridge and immediately say, it's too risky, I'll fall. But believing in yourself is the inner voice that says, I know it looks scary, but I also know I have the strength, the balance, and the courage to make it across. It's not about eliminating the fear. It's about trusting yourself enough to move forward despite the fear. Every major success story you've ever heard, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, started with that exact moment of trust in themselves when the odds looked impossible. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Thousands of failed attempts to invent the light bulb, yet he believed in himself enough to keep trying when everyone else probably thought he was wasting his life. Or Oprah Winfrey, who was told she wasn't fit for television. She couldn't believe the voices of doubt around her, but instead, she trusted herself enough to push forward. And now she's one of the most influential figures on the planet. These stories aren't about talent alone. They're about belief. Without that inner conviction, talent means nothing. Now, let's talk about how this applies to you. Maybe right now you're working on a dream that feels too far away. Maybe people around you are telling you it's unrealistic. Maybe you've already failed a few times and you're starting to doubt if it's worth trying again. I'm here to tell you, your belief in yourself is the one factor that will decide whether you keep pushing or whether you quit. You can have the best strategy, the best mentors, the best tools, but if you don't believe you're capable of making it happen, you'll sabotage yourself before you even get close. Belief is the fuel that keeps you in the game long enough to win. Think about the people who quit too early. They didn't stop because the dream was impossible. They stopped because they stopped believing in themselves. That's the heartbreaking part. They had the ability, but they didn't have the belief. Don't let that be you. When life throws challenges at you, when things don't go according to plan, that's the exact moment when belief matters most. Anybody can believe in themselves when everything is going well. But the ones who rise to greatness are the ones who believe even when the evidence says they should. Believing in yourself also shifts how other people see you. Confidence is contagious. When you walk into a room with the energy that says, I know I belong here. I know I can handle this. People respond differently to you. Opportunities come your way, not because the world suddenly got easier, but because your energy attracts the right people and the right doors start to open. On the other hand, if you walk into every situation doubting yourself, second-guessing your worth, that hesitation repels opportunities. People trust those who trust themselves. Let's be real, though. Believing in yourself doesn't mean ignoring your weaknesses or pretending everything will be perfect. It means accepting that you're a work in progress, but choosing to back yourself anyway. You may fail, you may stumble, you may have moments of doubt, but believe means you'll get back up, you'll adjust, and you'll keep moving. That's what separates winners from everyone else. Winners aren't people who never fail. They're people who never let failure convince them to stop believing. Now ask yourself, what dream have you been holding back on because you don't fully believe in yourself? What opportunity have you ignored because you thought you weren't ready? How many times have you told yourself, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes? Those voices in your head aren't the truth. They're fear trying to keep you small. And the only way to silence them is by taking action anyway. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you're building evidence that you can trust yourself. Belief isn't just a mindset, it's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Picture your life 5 years from now if you start believing in yourself today. Imagine the risks you'll take, the opportunities you'll seize, the person you'll become. Now picture your life 5 years from now if you don't change anything. If you keep letting doubt run your decisions, which version of your life feels better? Which version makes you proud? You already know the answer. Believing in yourself is not about arrogance. It's about acknowledging your worth and refusing to settle for less than what you're capable of. It's about deciding that your dreams matter enough to fight for, even when it's hard, even when no one else sees the vision but you. If you don't back yourself, who will? The world isn't going to hand you your dream on a silver platter. You got to be the first one to say, I deserve this, I can do this, and I will do this. At the end of the day, belief in yourself is the starting line for every breakthrough you'll ever have. Without it, you'll never take the first step. With it, there's no limit to how far you can go. There will be moments in your life when you feel completely overwhelmed by the weight of challenges in front of you. The storms of life can shake you, make you question yourself, and even push you toward giving up. But in those moments, it is not your circumstances that define whether you rise or fall. It is your mindset, your belief in yourself that will determine the outcome. Believing in yourself is the foundation of resilience. It's the ability to stand tall when everything around you is trying to knock you down. It's the inner fire that whispers, I can, even when the world shouts, you can. And this belief is not arrogance. It's not pretending that you don't have weaknesses. It's the unwavering confidence that no matter how many times you fail, you will always get back up. Without that belief, every setback feels like the end of the road. With it, every setback becomes a stepping stone. Think about it. How many people give up not because they weren't capable, but because they stopped believing they were capable? How many dreams died not because they were impossible, but because the dreamer convinced themselves it wasn't worth pursuing? You see, life is hard enough as it is. There will be doubters, critics, and obstacles in your path. But the greatest danger is when you become your own biggest critic, when you let the voice inside you say, I can't do this. That's when belief becomes non-negotiable. You can't control the opinions of others, but you can control your own voice. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else's belief will ever be enough to carry you. But if you believe in yourself, even the loudest doubt in the room can't silence your determination. Yeah, every great success story you've ever heard started with someone who dared to believe in themselves when no one else did. The people who changed the world didn't always have the best resources, the biggest opportunity, or the strongest support systems. What they had was a relentless faith in their ability to overcome, to learn, to grow, and to succeed. That's the same faith you need when the road gets rough. Belief is not just positive thinking, it's a decision. It's choosing to trust yourself, to commit fully, even when the evidence isn't clear yet. It's waking up every morning and saying, no matter what comes, I'm not quitting. And the truth is, the universe rewards that kind of determination. When you believe in yourself, you act with conviction. And when you act with conviction, doors begin to open, opportunities begin to appear, and the impossible starts to look possible. But make no mistake, believing in yourself doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It doesn't mean you won't doubt. It doesn't mean you won't have moments where you question if you're really cut out for this. What it means is that despite those feelings, you choose to keep moving forward. You see, courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving in faith despite fear. And that's where belief comes in. When you believe in yourself, you don't let fear control your choices. You don't let setbacks define your worth. You don't let other people's opinions write your story. Instead, you write your own story. You say, this is my life, my dream, and my journey, and I will see it through. When challenges hit, and you'll realize that belief is like armor. Without it, every criticism, every failure, every rejection cuts deep. But with it, those same blows just bounce off. You learn to take lessons instead of losses, to see failures as feedback instead of dead ends. When you truly believe in yourself, rejection becomes redirection, obstacles become opportunities, and problems become puzzles waiting to be solved. That's why belief is so powerful. It transforms how you see the world. Where others see walls, you see doors. Where others see endings, you see beginnings. Now let's talk about persistence, because belief and persistence are inseparable. If you believe in yourself, you will persist. If you persist long enough, eventually you win. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not talent, not luck, but the simple refusal to quit. And you only refuse to quit when you believe there's something worth fighting for, when you believe you have what it takes. Think about Thomas Edison. Thousands of failed attempts at creating the light bulb, but his belief that he could do it kept him going. Think about athletes who train day and night, facing injury and exhaustion, but still push through because they believe in their potential. That's the same belief you need in your life. You may not be inventing the next breakthrough or competing for a gold medal, but your dream matters, your goal matters, and your life matters. And the only way to honor that is to keep going, fueled by belief. People will doubt you, sometimes even the people closest to you. They may not see what you see. They may not understand your vision. And they may even tell you it can't be done. But that's where belief becomes your anchor. You don't need the whole world to believe in your dream. You need you. Because when you're the one putting in the hours, facing the struggles, and carrying the vision, the only voice that really matters is your own. And once you believe, you'll notice something incredible. Slowly, others will begin to believe too. Your confidence will inspire confidence. Your persistence will inspire respect. Your growth will silence doubt. But it all begins with you, and it begins with belief. You might say, but what if I fail? And the answer is simple. You will fail, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. Failure is part of the journey. Every successful person you admire failed more times than they succeeded. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They believed enough in themselves to see failure as progress, as proof that they were tried, as evidence that they were closer to success than yesterday. Believing in yourself doesn't eliminate failure. It redefines it. And once you redefine it, it loses its power over you. So let me ask you, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Your heart was given to you for a reason. The passion inside you exists because you are meant to pursue it. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect condition. Stop waiting for everyone else to clap for you before you take the stage. Believe in yourself enough to take the first step, even if it's shaky, even if it's small. Because once you do, momentum takes over. And with momentum, belief grows stronger. And with stronger belief, your success becomes inevitable. Believe in yourself is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every morning, you gotta remind yourself, I can, I will, I must. Every time doubt creeps in, you gotta silence it with action. Every time failure comes, you gotta meet it with persistence. And every time fear tries to hold you back, you've gotta confront it with courage. Because the truth is, no one can do this for you. No one can hand you belief. It has to come from you. And once you embrace it, once you let it drive you, there's nothing you cannot overcome. When you walk through life without believing in yourself, it's like trying to run a marathon with chains tied around your ankles. Every step feels heavy. Every mile feels longer than it should. And you start to believe that maybe you don't belong in the race at all. But when you finally begin to trust your own ability, when you decide deep inside that you're capable, that's when the chains break off. That's when you start running free. And suddenly the finish line doesn't seem so far away. Believing in yourself isn't about arrogance or pretending you have everything figured out. It's about understanding that you were created with a unique purpose, with talents and gifts that no one else has, and that those gifts are enough to take you where you're supposed to go. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And if you walk with your head down, doubting your every step, the world will see that doubt and reflect it back to you. But when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, even if you're still figuring things out, the world will start to respond differently. Doors will open, people will listen, and opportunities will find you because confidence is magnetic. Think about how many times you've already doubted yourself in the past. Think about the opportunities you let slip away because you thought you weren't ready, weren't good enough, or didn't have the resources. How many dreams have you put on the shelf because you convinced yourself you couldn't do it? That's what a lack of self-belief does. It kills potential before it ever has the chance to live. And here's the truth. You will never feel 100% ready for anything. You'll never have every single detail in place, the perfect conditions, the flawless plan. Growth doesn't happen in perfection. It happens in action. Believing in yourself means stepping forward even when you feel uncertain, even when your voice is shaky, even when the path isn't clear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move anyway, and that decision starts with belief. When you look at successful people, it's not that they never doubted themselves. It's that they refused to let doubt win. They kept showing up even when they failed, even when people laughed at them, even when it seemed impossible. Believing in yourself doesn't guarantee that everything will go smoothly, but it does guarantee that you won't quit when it gets rough. And let me tell you, life will get rough. There will be times when you'll face rejection, when doors will slam in your face, when your closest friends or even your family won't understand your vision. But in those moments, belief is the anchor that keeps you steady. When nobody else sees it, when nobody else supports it, you've got to see it for yourself. You got to be your own biggest fan before anyone else ever joins the crowd. And don't confuse self-belief with waiting for results to prove your worth. Wait, who word then? If you wait until you succeed to believe in yourself, you'll never start. You got to believe before the success comes, because belief is the seed that produces the fruit. No one plants a seed and demands proof before watering it. They water it because they believe that in time, something will grow. That's exactly how life works. Your self-belief is the water that feeds your dreams, your goals, your purpose. Without it, your potential remains buried. But with it, you give yourself permission to grow, to expand, to step into who you were meant to be. I want you to think for a moment about a time when you surprised yourself. Maybe it was something small, finishing a project you thought you couldn't handle, getting through a tough season in your life, speaking up when you were scared. Those moments are proof that you're stronger than you think. You've already overcome things that once felt impossible, but because you lived through them, you forget how powerful you really are. That's why self-belief is so critical. It reminds you that you've done hard things before and you can do hard things again. It's not about ignoring challenges. It's about trusting yourself to handle them. And here's something you need to hear. People are going to doubt you. People are going to criticize you. People are going to question you, laugh at you, maybe even discourage you. And if you don't have belief in yourself, their voices will drown out your own. But when you know who you are and what you're capable of, their words don't carry the same weight. You can hear the doubt, you can hear the negativity, but it doesn't break you because your belief is stronger than their opinion. That's when you move from being controlled by fear of others to being led by faith in yourself. Believing in yourself also changes the way you approach failure. Most people see failure as a full stop, a dead end, a sign that they should quit. But when you believe in yourself, failure becomes feedback. It becomes information that helps you grow, adjust, and get better. It's not something that defines you, it's something that refines you. Boo. And that shift in perspective makes all the difference. Instead of running from mistakes, you start learning from them. Instead of letting failure break you, you let it build you. You've got to understand that the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent, isn't resources, isn't luck, it's belief. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself enough to pursue them, they'll stay locked inside you forever. And the world doesn't need locked up potential. It needs what you have to offer. There's somebody out there waiting for the gift you carry, waiting for the solution you can provide, waiting for the story only you can tell. But they'll never receive it if you don't first believe that you're capable of sharing it. Self-belief also fuels consistency. When you believe in yourself, you show up differently. You stop quitting halfway. You stop giving half effort. You stop letting excuses win. Excuses win. You show up with energy, with passion, with resilience, because you know that what you're working toward is worth it. And when life knocks you down, and it will, you get back up faster because belief won't let you stay down. Belief tells you this isn't the end. I've got more in me. I've got more to give. So the question you got to ask yourself today is, do you believe in you? Not just when things are easy, not just when people are clapping for you, not just when life is going smooth. Do you believe in you when it's tough, when the road is lonely, when nothing seems to be working? Because that's when belief matters most. Anyone can believe when the sun is shining, but the ones who make it are the ones who still believe in the storm. There comes a point in your life when you have to stop waiting for someone else to come and believe in you. You have to stop expecting people to cheer for you. Stop expecting everyone to validate your decision, and stop waiting for that approval that never seems to come. Ooh. Because the truth is, there will be days when nobody believes in you. Not your family, not your friends, not your coworkers. Not those moments. The only thing that can keep you moving forward is your own belief in yourself. When you truly believe in yourself, you create a power inside that can't be shaken by rejection, doubt, or negativity. That's the kind of belief that allows ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Most people don't realize that belief is a muscle. It's not something you're born with fully developed, something you strengthen through consistency and persistence. When you believe in yourself, you don't wait for proof, you create proof. You don't wait for someone else to say you're capable. You show the world you're capable. Think about it. Every successful person you've ever admired, every person who made a name for themselves, they all had one thing in common. Before the world believed in them, they believed in themselves. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Oprah, Muhammad Ali, all of them had moments when nobody saw the vision. But they didn't let the opinions of others define what they were going to do. They held on to their belief, even when it looked crazy, even when people laughed at them, and that's why they became great. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It doesn't mean you won't doubt sometimes. It doesn't mean you won't fail. It means you won't let those things stop you. Fear is natural. Fear is natural, doubt is natural, and failure is guaranteed. But what separates people who succeed from those who quit is that the successful ones never let fear and failure convince them that they weren't capable. They kept moving, even when it hurt, even when it didn't make sense, even when they felt alone. And because they moved, their belief grew stronger. Effort. Every step they took, even the small ones, reinforced that belief. You've got to understand something. Nobody can hand you belief. People can motivate you, people can motivate you, but belief, that's an inside job. That comes from you deciding, no matter what, I'm not giving up. No matter what, I know I've got what it takes. No matter how long it takes me, I'm not stopping until I get there. And when you live with that mindset, you stop needing permission. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop asking, am I good enough?